Hello guys, welcome to Skill Up Hub. My name is Anobita, also known as Master P. Today we are going to learn how to cut corset blouse. In cutting corset blouse, the basic measurements you need are shoulder, bust point, upper bust, under bust, waist, and length. The length can be half cut or the full length of the blouse. But what we are going to learn how to do in this particular video, we are going to learn how to cut a blouse, okay? But from the same tutorial, you can as well learn how to cut a half cut to a gown if you want a gown. So are you ready? Position yourself ready to learn, and let's get this right away. The measurement we'll be using, just as I called out, shows that 16 upper bust, 7 bust point, 10 under bust, 13 and half, that is under bust length, waist 30, bust 36, and blouse length 23 and half. Now let's take this to be our client. The bust point will be here. This is the under bust, and I'll be using this to show you other things while we are cutting. And then the upper bust, you can see where the bust formation starts. That is the upper bust, that is what I meant by the 7 here. These are pattern that we're going to use in cutting this corset. You need to draft out pattern. This pattern that we are making use of. So I have inch for shoulder allowance, bust point 10, under bust 13 and half, waistline 3, that is the difference. Then blouse length 23 and half. If you don't add any sewing allowance, you add it later. The same thing is what I'll do over here. Now you measure bust point to bust point, that is nipple to nipple, this one to this one. You measure it, which mine is, the bust point to bust point is 7, and I'm not adding any sewing allowance. Since this is pattern, we'll add the sewing allowance on the main fabric. Then here we'll add, we'll mark the 3 and half, divide the bust point to bust point by 2, and then mark it on the bust line, under bust, waistline. Okay, let's join them. The next line we're going to mark is the armhole line. Armhole usually is shoulder divided by 2. Okay, this is the armhole line. This is the armhole line. This armhole line is also representing our bust line. Our bust line, this our bust point, this our under bust, this our waist, our length, and this our shoulder. Now between the waist and under bust, we're going to introduce that, which is 1 inch this side and 1 inch this other side. Slant it to come to the length. Slant it to come to the length like this. Then we'll come up. We are going to draw an imaginary line round our bust region. We are going to draw an imaginary line round. I'll be doing is 3 and half. Mark 3 and half. Mark 3 and half. Mark 3 and half. You can also use compass to do this work. Okay, let me use another color so that you understand this very well, since it's an imaginary line. Down part of it here, we are going to give bust cup to it. You get bust cup. So using your French curve, you can give bust cup to it like this to this side, and like this to the other side. Can you see this? We have done this now. Well, I mentioned of upper bust. And this is where we are going to introduce our upper bust. And our upper bust is 7 inches. 7. You mark it and then join the line like this. This is our upper bust. This is going to be as our guide as well. It's important to use this so that the corset will not be loose at the upper bust region. The corset will not be loose up here. You can determine this by simply measuring your client from shoulder to upper bust. Having done that, we are going to minus 1 inch at the upper bust line. We'll minus 1 inch at this side, 1.5 inch this side, and 1/2 inch in here. Now, why are we doing this? Why is it that this side is wider? So that it will make the corset firm at the bust, at the upper part of the bust, to make it firm. This is our bust point. Having done this, before we continue, let's take the measurement of this and this from bust point. This is 3 inches and this 3.5. So this one that is shorter, okay, is it 3.5? Okay, this is about 3.25. Now this one that is 3 inches, we are going to increase it to be 3.5, so that when you join it, you won't experience any shortage. You get? Okay, that is it there. And then next is to mark out the body measurement. And the body measurement, the bust is 36. And I told you that this bust line, this armhole line, is going to represent our bust line, which is 36. You divide it, 36 divide by 4. You mark it. And then the space here, we're going to add it at the other side, which is about about 1/2 inch. Now you mark it. Now you come to the waist. The waist is 30, which is divided by 4, 5 and 7.5. You mark it. Yes, you mark it, and then you add up this. You represent this over here, and then at the down of the corset length, the roundness, how firm you want it to be, that is the fitting of it, is going to be 39. The one we are using is 39. So 39 divided by 4, you mark it, and then that is it. Okay, I will continue. Before that, let's curve the armhole. Remember, we're using this is where the armhole, the bust line. This is where the bust is, not this, because of this 1/2 inch. So we'll curve it like this. Next, we are going to curve the corset this side. Actually, you can curve it from this point to the bust line or to the under bust. It's depending on how deep you want it to be. It's just like a kind of the V. You get the V at the middle, which is the V here, depending on how deep you want it to be. Now, I'm not going to go with this. Rather, I'll go in between this. That is where I want it to be, the curve here to be. And then I'm going to mark 1/2 inch. That is the space for the corset. Now, this way I'm still going to use this to explain something to you. The space I'm talking about is the space here. The space here. Continue. I told you that the space here is 1 inch, and then we are using 1/2 because it's on fold. 1/2 inch, we mark it straight line. We'll mark it this, and then from here we curve it to this point. like this. And then from here you curve it to this point as well. Okay, this for this part. Okay, before we go to this other side, let's correct this curve. Let's correct it small. Okay, now looking at this our model now, our figure. Oh, normal woman breast, breast. This side, the side is usually bigger than this inner side. That is, this inner side, which is this, is usually smaller than this side. It seems to be because it's enlarged to maybe somewhere, but this is an imaginary line. This is not what we are going to use. Far be it from it. Okay, so what we are going to do here is I'm going to show you a logic that you are going to use. Once you are taking your client's measurement, remember you also measure bust point to bust point. So it's also advisable to measure from the side, that is where the bust formation starts, to where it stops, so that when you are cutting it, you can get the main line or the main position that this curve should be. Not that you curve in this when you are supposed to have something here, or when you are supposed to have something bigger or wider. Now, I told you that you measure from here to this point. Okay, now as I told you, you either measure it, you measure it, method which I use. It's advisable for you to measure this, so that by the time you use this method, you also get the main point. Now, I'll take 1.5 inch away from this bust line, 1.5 inch, and mark it, which is this 1.5 inch now. 1.5 inch. So you can also, after doing this, you confirm what you measure from this side here to this other side, divide it by 2, and then measure it back and confirm it. If it's okay, if it's not okay, you add it. But this works for me. If it doesn't work for you, I've given you an option, which is to measure this. I guess I have to continue. Now, on the bust line, which is this, you take it up with a half inch. This is a half inch. This is a half inch. Okay, now this loop down to this bust point, half inch, a kind of T. Then you use your French curve and then curve it to this point. You see that? And then the next one, you're going to cut from this point to this point here. Now, if you are going to curve it like this is entering inside this line, or is this line entering the line. But our target is this side to be bigger because of the size of it. So we are not going to go to this point, but that is this point that is entering the line. And take it down. Use this down like this instead. Okay, now this is it. So now we will now start from here like this. We're using this, but because I want to cut it off at this point, we just cut it like this. Like it. So now we're going to make it to be in 4 pieces. Okay, it's going to be in 4 pieces. Now let's number it as this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you are watching this video to this point, I believe you are getting value. So help us do better by subscribing to our page and then you like this video so others can as well see it. Subscribing to the channel is free, so you wouldn't be charged a dime. What are you waiting for? Hit on the red button and like this video. Let's go. In this type of corset I want to give, from this bust line that will mark here, you measure 1.5 inch down and keep measuring it. The 1.5 inch, you keep measuring it like this, like this. Like this. So this is what we have. Okay, you can now see it. This is the part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Understood. Next, remember we have not joined our bust line. I've not joined our bust line. You can add the seam allowance from here. Add seam allowance. Okay, let's go with seam allowance 1.5, 1.5, and then 1.5. Join it. It's looking straight, right? Don't worry. The dart here, by the time we join it, this is gonna go. The fitting is gonna come out perfect today. Okay, so let's do our cutting. We cut out this. Remember, we say it's in 4 pieces. That is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is our corset, but we are not yet through. We are going to do something to this part here, which is this. We are going to join it together so that it will be in 3 pieces. We cut it in 3 parts, but when we sew it, we want it to be in 3 pieces. See what I'm doing? Don't place it on top. Just drop it, let it be together. Let it be together. So this is it. Let's go to the back part of the corset. Now when cutting it, I'm still going to show you when cutting it, but when cutting it, you add 1/2 inch by this side, which you use for joining. 1/2 inch by this side, which you use for joining. 1/2 inch down here, and this one 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Folding allowance down, and the 1/2 inch down as well. If you want 1 inch to join it, you add the inches there. So I'm going to add. Let us put plus to help us remember. Plus will signify seam allowance. And then this part here is going to be on fold. It's 1, but since it's pattern, that is why it's 1. When placing it on fabric, the fabric is going to be on fold. Now you just drop and extend these lines to the back part. Since it's a kind of half cut off shoulder, rather it's kind of off shoulder, we don't need the shoulder part. That's why this is shorter here. Okay, now let's continue. This is the back part, and this side is going to be for the zip, and then our zipper allowance is going to be 1 inch. 1 inch for the zip allowance. For the zip allowance, and then this is the waistline. The waistline So the waist measurement is 30. You divide it by 4. Okay, before that, let's mark out the dart. Let's mark the dart. We'll still be using that nipple to nipple divided by 2 and mark it here. Sorry. I mark it here to get the dart. Okay, so now this our dart is going to be a total of 1 inch. So half inch this side and then half inch this other side. Okay, this is the waistline. We're using the half inch here and half inch this other side. You take it down to the length, you slant it and you slant it, and then up here you can go to this bust point. That's where it will stop. Oh, sorry, 1.5 inch below the bust point. That's where it will stop. Remember, this is that at the back. That's at the back. Already, this also served as our armhole. So this is where our armhole line is. We are not going to mark the armhole line, but to know where it is, this way the armhole curve start from. And then let's mark the waist. The waist is waist 30. 30 divided by 2. We have 1 inch here. You bring it over here, and then the down part of it, what we have is 29. That was what we use at the front. 29 there. We have nothing to add. Then please, you can extend this line up here to have a better fitting at the back. Have a better fitting at the back. That's why I'm extending the line. The bust is 36. 36 you divide it by 4, you mark, and then we have nothing here. Okay, about just a 1/4 inch that is going out. But we'll still represent that 1/4 inch. Then we'll join it like this. So you now see this. Now this is the back part. Already these are armhole. You get. And remember that for the armhole, you can use this so that the armhole of this will not vary from that other armhole. You can use this. Now this is the armhole of the front part, and then shape the armhole did we add our sewing allowance? No, we added to this. Let me add before I do that. Sewing allowance 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. Okay, now you use this place here and then shape it like this, since it's going to carry the same armhole. Then you can choose to cut this straight, but you know now it will be better if it's slant. You can choose to cut it straight. The back part, that is the back part of the dress, the back, it can be straight or this slant or something like this. I believe you would like something slant, so we are going to go with slant. We'll go down here with about 0.75, that is 3/4 inch. That's for the slant. Using our French line, French curve, we'll curve it from this point. Or instead, let's go with the 1 inch. We'll curve it from this point to the 1 inch here. And also remember that the back part of a dress is not usually straight. It's not usually straight. So it's going to have shape, a little shape at the back part, which is half inch. Add half inch here, then shoot it out to this point, and then shoot it out up here. Now our zipper allowance change from this point to, so I'm still going to mark the same 1.25 that we added to mark it down. Why is there a change here? Because of the half inch we added here. slant it there. Slant it. Oh. So we are through with our cutting. Let me cut it so that you see what we have. This is it. You can see with this dart here, it will make it to be firm at the back part of the person. You see it, so that we'll see the whole thing. Now this is what we have from the cutting. This is what we have. You can see it. This is the whole thing. So with this, if you want to cut half cut of a corset, you go with the half length, the half cut. If it's a blouse, you go with this. If it's half cut, then you have this. Thank you for watching. I believe that you were able to learn a lot from this video. Let us know where you have questions in the comment section, and I'll respond to you as soon as possible. Remember to like our video and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't. Follow us on our Facebook page as well at Skill Up Hub. And throughout this channel, we'll get together, grow together, and know each other. Have a nice day. Bye.